Hello and welcome to this video where we look at the keywords dashboard in NewsWhip Analytics. We'll review what it is and how to use it. The keywords dashboard allows you to search historical engagement data for one or many specific words across web articles and social posts. This could be people, brands, products, or topics, to name a few. I'll create a new dashboard and I'll start with one of the world's most famous drinks. Coca-Cola is also a good example as it's a keyword that might need a bit of attention for filtering. I'll go into Boolean to show this example. I can simply enter Coca-Cola and it will return all references. However, I would need to type Diet Coke or Coke Zero in quotations to match that as an exact phrase if our search was focused on one particular product or both. I want to see as many results as possible in this search, so it is beneficial to add or Coke to this search since it is colloquially synonymous with Coca-Cola. I will not include cola as there's a much higher chance of capturing alternatives. This is my own subjective choice and you may find yourself having to make similar decisions when filtering searches. Out of interest, I ran both of these searches off camera, as it were, and the addition of or Coke to the search added 18,000 extra articles for this year alone. Now, to be even more particular, I'm going to add not drugs to this search. Coke is common slang for cocaine, which I don't want to include. I'm making the assumption that any article that uses Coke in relation to cocaine will include a reference to drugs somewhere. Again, out of interest, adding this managed to filter out 800 articles. This was less than 1% of the total articles, but now we can be confident all references are to the drink. I will now add some new keywords. The obvious one being Pepsi as a main competitor, and I'll also add Dr. Pepper. These should not need any filtering. I also won't make any other global dashboard changes. I just need to name the dashboard. I'll go with soft drinks global. We call it all fizzy juice where I'm from, and it's called minerals here in Ireland, so this seems like a safe option for all. I want an overview of this year, so I will change the date range. The first tab of the dashboard here focuses on content published on the web. At the top we can see Coke leads the way on article count with nearly 5 times that of Pepsi and 10 times that of Dr. Pepper. The overview shows us a breakdown by network. Interestingly, we can see Coke and Dr. Pepper have a lot of Pinterest pins. My guess here is that a lot of recipes are based around those drinks. Here, I'll select the drop down and review the average interactions, which can be a better comparative tool for engagement between keywords or brands of varying sizes in this case. We can see that Coke and Pepsi are around the same, but Pepsi actually has a bit of a higher average despite a lower article count. And at the bottom we have a great visualization of this data. I want to go on to the second tab now, which focuses on Facebook posts. We can see initially there are some similar but different trends. Coke is the leader of posts, but only by 3 times that of Pepsi. Dr. Pepper is further off the pace. Again, Pepsi has higher average interactions, and this time by a bigger margin. Scrolling down, we can really start to see some useful granular details about the posts in the post type breakdown by interactions. Again, I'm going to switch to average interactions to better compare the free soft drinks. Okay, the big point to note here is that video posts about Pepsi on Facebook this year are getting the biggest reaction from people. Photos and links are about the same for all. Let's look at this in even more detail in post count versus interactions performance. The dark navy is for all video posts. We can see they are a high percentage for Pepsi. There is an option to check the video type. we can see they are mostly native video, so there's no big reactions from perhaps a live stream. But next we have some really great insights unique to Facebook. We can filter by shares or comments, but also by Facebook reactions. Let's see if this big block of high average reactions with Pepsi video posts is a case of love or hate. Let's start with the angries, as strange as it is to say that. It looks like this is not the case, but I do have a bit of concern for Dr. Pepper there. Let's now move on to loves. Okay, we can see that there has been a positive reaction. Let's try and see if we can find the answer as to what caused this. Is it an ongoing trend, or was there one or two stories that caused it? We can do this with the overtime comparison graph. I will deselect Coke and Dr. Pepper, so we only have Pepsi for this year. I'll switch the post type to video. Already we can see one big peak in February, which had nearly 6 million interactions. There is also a smaller peak in May and October. I'll change the interaction type as well for further clarity. We can see that there were nearly 2 million love reactions, which is very impressive. Let's click on this peak to see what did it. I'll expand out the content panel for a better look. And there we go. Pepsi sponsored the halftime show at this year's Super Bowl. We can see multiple native videos from the official NFL Facebook page. So there's less of a focus on Pepsi as a product, but that can be viewed as a big engagement success for event sponsorship. So we were quickly able to look through the data and find the answer. And that's just me as some guy throwing things at a wall to see what sticks. Imagine what it's like in the hands of an invested expert such as yourself. And lastly, just below this, we have separate pie charts for each post type. These are some convenient visuals that can be downloaded and added to any of your reports. I'm going to move on now to the last tab, which is the leaderboard. This table is a great way to spot the leading authors, publishers, and Facebook pages for each keyword. For authors, you can spot who is writing the most frequently about a person or brand. You can also check how high their engagement rate is and weigh up how valuable their contributions really are. As always, you can sort the table and filter further. We can see the highest average interaction is for a single story on the Daily Mail about Coke. And oh, apparently Elon Musk joked about buying Coca-Cola. This is a useful insight, but usually you would want to find an author with a few articles with high average or total engagement. This is the same for publisher really. We can see that Yahoo is really churning out articles about Coke and Pepsi this year. Facebook pages is a little bit different and again can be filtered by post and interaction type. 2 points to note here. Page likes is actually referring to followers of the page. Also, a really interesting metric here is the interactions percentage. This is highlighting Facebook pages with excellent engagement. It's also a great way to find potential partners or influencers that might not already be associated with you. That's really it for the keywords dashboard. As you can see, there's a lot to dive into. I'll just conclude with one extra suggested step. A lot of this information is skewed globally or by the Super Bowl in the US. I can choose to duplicate this dashboard and filter it down further. Now, I know there are only 2 real regional competitors to Coke in the world. These are Iron Brew in Scotland and Inca Kola in Peru. One is an unnatural orange colour and one is an unnatural yellow colour. I have enjoyed both. Let's add Inca Kola as a new search and also make a global location filter for Peru. This is going to give us valuable regional data that might get overshadowed by big events. And there we have it. Inca Kola doesn't quite beat Coca-Cola for articles, but it's close and also wins out on average interactions. And we've now discovered together that Dr. Pepper doesn't seem to be available in Peru. I now have a best practice suggestion. Use keywords dashboards for historical analysis and future planning. These dashboards are very versatile and can be used to reflect on the past and plan for the future. You're able to review previous events or campaigns to see what worked and what didn't, or how world or regional stories shape decisions and discourse. Remember that NewsWhip Analytics goes back to 2014, which is 8 full years of data. My mind can barely process the last 2 years, so thank goodness I have the keywords dashboard. Thanks for watching.